Welcome to the DealMachine Real Estate Investing Podcast, where we help ambitious W-2 employees who want to leave their jobs in the next 6 months, earn $1 million per year, drive their dream car, pursue their passions, and take control of their life. You're going to learn from people who've replaced their W-2 income by wholesaling real estate, a way to earn big checks by finding discounted real estate and passing it off to an investor who's got money and giving you up to $25,000 finder's fee. We're going to give you 2 weekly interviews plus an expert-led masterclass in front of a live audience with crowd Q&A participation. My co-host is Ryan Haywood, whose sales job cut his commissions in 2019, so he quit. And since his wife Megan was also pregnant at the time, he took a 14-day real estate wholesaling challenge and made $8,500, and he's gone on to do 400 deals since then in St. Joseph, Missouri. I'm David Lecko and have completed 15 off-market deals since 2017. I created a process for finding off-market deals that's helped people close 10,000 deals in all 50 states, which turned into the software platform DealMachine. Our guest today is Colton Fast. He started in 2020, and actually he's done some of the biggest deals that I've ever seen. He's done 75 deals, and he's actually made as much as $125,000 on a single finder's fee. And he's had multiple deals above 6 figures. You have to hear this episode because I know you're going to start out maybe making $5,000, but this is going to tell you how you can make bigger checks. Without further ado, you guys are going to love this episode. And if you've gotten any value from the pod so far, make sure you're subscribed and leave us a review. It helps us make more content to get you to financial freedom.
The DealMachine REI Podcast. Everything you need to know to get started in real estate investing.
Welcome back to the DealMachine Real Estate Investing Podcast, where if you're a W-2 employee that wants to leave their job in about 6 months' time, earn $1 million a year, drive your dream car, pursue your passions, and take control of your life, this is the place where you can learn from people who have replaced their W income through the proven business model of wholesaling real estate. And our guests are on their way to building a cash-generating machine that could eventually run without them and actually allow them to take their family on extended trips, drive their dream car, live in their dream home, and pursue their passions. And we've got 2 weekly interviews and a 3rd episode that's led by an expert in front of a live audience of people working on this as well. Our guest is Colton Fast. He actually did his very first wholesale deal in 2020, making $4,500, and he's done 75 deals since then. Many of those deals have actually been in the 6 figures, making $125,000 on a single deal. So buckle up. I know you're going to learn a lot from this interview. And if you've gotten any value from this podcast, go ahead and make sure you're subscribed and leave us a review. It helps us make more content to get you to financial freedom. Colton, it's great to have you on the show, man. Can you tell us, how did you get that first deal for $4,500?
Yeah, so I was working with my brother initially. He kind of brought me into the space. So I went cold turkey. I left my W-2 one day, and the next day I was full-time working, trying to generate leads and build the first piece of the business. My background is in analysis, so I was able to take the data. We hired some cold callers. I had 4 cold callers right out of the gate. Within 2 weeks, the leads just started to pour in, and we didn't know how to sell. And so we struggled to try to capitalize and convert these leads we were getting from cold calling, and they were just all sorts of stuff. High equity, absentee owner, it was a grab bag of all these lists of all these things. We found a gentleman who was sick and tired of his house. He actually fully remodeled it, and then it wasn't selling for him. He was priced way too high. Ultimately, he was a realtor. He wanted to reinvest his money somewhere else, and it was a failed project for him, but it was a great house. It had been done well. It had some quirks, but just wasn't moving. So he ended up going under contract with us. I think he had a tax thing too. I think he was trying to avoid some taxes, get rid of this property before the end of the year. So we ended up going under contract at the end of November 2020, closing it December 22nd, 2020, $4,500. More than what I tell people is more than the money. The $4,500 didn't change my life, but it proved the model. It proved that I could make money doing this. And that's what really started to oh, wow, we can do this. How many times can I make $4,500 like this? And of course, there's no limit to that, and obviously more. So that was the first deal.
That's amazing. So you went cold turkey. Why did you end up having to go cold turkey, or why were you motivated to do that?
It's funny. I was at a wedding for a friend of mine. I was back in Omaha, where I'm from. So we were at the casino the night before the wedding or 2 nights before the wedding, whatever it was. And my little brother, 2 years younger than me, had been wholesaling real estate for 2 years at that point. And I was working a W-2 job. I was making, close to six figures, had a good job. My brother pulled some money out of the ATM at the casino, and he says, "You want to see something?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." She flips over the withdrawal receipt. He had like $85,000 in his checking account, and I'm making close to six figures. I've never even sniffed anything close to that in my checking account. And so I'm like, and he's 2 years younger than me, and I'm like, man, like I'm missing the boat. So I felt like that it still took me a while to take action. But it was my brother's early success that really opened the door for me and had me kind of wanting to be in the space.
Gotcha. Wow. And so what did they do with that money at the casino? I want to know what happened next.
Lost it. All of it. No.
But it didn't matter because they had 85.
Yeah. Lost $2,000, which would have crippled me at the time. And he was just like, "Yeah, I'll go get another $2,000,
Yeah. So you were motivated by just the luxury of having excess. You didn't have to worry about something because you had that money. They had that money in the bank.
Yeah, and I've always, I'm not going to be like the guy who didn't have things, had a tough childhood. Like that's not true. Like we had a lot of opportunities, but I was told no a lot, like to luxuries. It was like, I want this car, I want this thing, I want this baseball bat, I want this whatever, and the answer was always no. I want these soccer cleats, no. I think that just drove me to a place where it's like, I don't want to be told no anymore, and I want to earn enough income. And the math never worked for me either in W-2. It was like, I can work. When you run the numbers on trying to save that or make that kind of money, I always thought to myself, the only way that I can get to where I want to be is huge cash influxes. And I'm not going to see those here. So it was always in the back of my mind. It was like, how can I just make more cash, like significantly more cash than my expenses are?
Mm-hmm. Well, in that case where you found the deal, he had an old listing, it was priced too high, it wasn't selling, and he had not paid his taxes, it sounded like. How did you end up finding that property? Did you look for old listings, or were you looking for people who hadn't paid their taxes?
A bit of both. So the thing that really sparked us was my background in analysis, and I was just able to take and segment whatever data we can find and target them in whatever way that they should be targeted. So I was able to, so we pulled tax defaults, we pulled liens, we pulled pre-foreclosures, we pulled expired listings, we pulled all of that, and we inputted it into the cold calling system. And so it was obviously pretty messy in the beginning, but it was somewhere in that effort was where that lead came from.
Gotcha. Ryan, do you?
Hey, can we?
Tax delinquent properties?
I do on occasion. It's not as big of a business for me to get into the tax delinquency because I don't like the unsure. There may be liens on there. I don't like messing with that stuff. I'd much rather just go direct to seller, find the distressed property, and go on from there. So lists aren't mine. I do like lists, but I like my driving for dollars list the most because it's totally unique to me. Nobody else is operating on the same list, and especially in my market, I'm small enough that if somebody has the same list as me, we're all hitting the same leads. So I don't like, for me, it doesn't work as well. Probably it is for other. I want to go back, though, to talking about your W-2. In your W-2 life, your W-2, what was it that you didn't like about that? And what made it so easy for you to just say, you know what, I'm done, I'm moving on, I can probably do this better than... Talk about that a little bit more. Give us a glimpse of what that in W-2 environment was like for you.
Yeah, I mean, I had saved up a little bit of money. I think I had 25 grand. It's almost like everything I've done has just been a stepping stone, a foothold to the next thing. And even what I'm doing now, I feel is a foothold to the next thing. But at that point I had 25 grand. My brother had, more than that. We knew we could fund the business up until the point where we could make money. And I just felt safe enough. I calculated the runway, the burn rate. I felt safe enough. It was like, okay, if I can't make money in the next 4, 5, 6 months, I don't need to make money for 4, 5, 6 months. If I can't make money in that amount of time, I shouldn't be doing that anyway. So, I just was ready to leap, as well as, just for me being told where I need to be, and for, those amount of hours every day in, day out, it was really tough for me. Just that I'd like to be in control of my own schedule, and it always seemed far-fetched, but all of a sudden you're not, and you just take that leap one day. And I wouldn't say that I was like fully confident, but I bet on myself, I guess is the way that a lot of people would say it. But
was it hard to go from a place that expected your attendance to being able to go on your own?
Yeah, I was always
and do what you want.
Yeah, I was always afraid. I never considered myself like the most disciplined person in the world. It's difficult for me to get into, and it's even to this day. Like, I'm not a 4 a.m. guy that's in the gym at 4:15 and has the regular schedule. And I'm trying to be better about all of that. But I was concerned that I wasn't disciplined enough, and that if I jumped out of that job and I started to pursue something on my own, that I would goof off too much. I would play video games. I would watch TV. I would watch every Netflix show. I wouldn't get in there and grind and work like I needed to, especially in the beginning, to get the plates spinning. And I think I just had a greater purpose, and still do. And I'm not worried about those things. I eliminated distractions. I haven't touched a video game since I started this business. I started to value my success more than some of the luxuries, the freedoms of, things that aren't productive.
Has growing this wholesaling business afforded you the freedom to potentially do what you want more often?
I think it does, but I do choose to do what I want more often. But I think what I choose to do is still work. And I enjoy it. I enjoy building. I enjoy pulling together systems. I really enjoy optimizing things. Building things from scratch is tough for me. My brother was always the one who jumped off the cliff and launched this new initiative and whatever. And then he would give me this half-baked department or whatever, and I would have to fix it, clean it up, and optimize it, take it to 80, 90%. And I love to do that. It's a little bit tough for me to launch new initiatives. Like, I've been trying to launch mail for months, and I just can't bring myself to send the first mail pieces, So if somebody else would come in here, send off the first batch of mail, and get it all set up, I would kill it after that, and I'd optimize it.
How are you finding deals if you're not sending mail?
We text a lot. We call still. And the other thing we do is a combination. I call them curated campaigns. We are reaching out to people who are largely in pre-foreclosure. We're sending pre-foreclosure messaging, and then it's a mix of a call on day 1, a text on day 6, an email on day 11, things like that. And I'd like to introduce more mediums to that mix. Like, I would like to send mail pieces on day 19 or whatever, and have that curated campaign. But
what is pre-foreclosure messaging?
It's talking. So I think the messaging should be relevant to whoever you're speaking with. If you're speaking to people with liens, you're gonna probably have more success saying, "Hey, I saw you had a lien on your property. We can get liens removed. We're happy to buy the house and take care of this stuff. We can negotiate liens down." We talk to people in pre-foreclosure is primarily a lot of the things we do here in Phoenix, in Maricopa County. So it's, hey, we know you have an auction. Everything's public record, right? So, hey, we know you have an auction on this date. If you want to talk about some options, we're happy to consult for free, and our services are this. And it's that type of messaging, no pressure, all the way through the process. We're here to consult, guide, and help you with even if it means not selling to us. We're here to assist you with your foreclosure problem. I'm speaking directly to that person.
So you made $4,500 on your first property, yet you've also done a few 6-figure deals. The biggest one was $125,000. Can you talk to me about how you started raising your average assignment fee per deal?
I think the first thing comes down to breaking through some limiting beliefs. I think that as you get through your first set of deals, you think, I can only make $5,000 on a deal. I can only make $10,000 on a deal. I watched it especially happen to my brother, and coming from Omaha, where the average deal size was 5 and 10,000, and that was what he did for 3 years. And he thought that was it. That's what you do. And we did one that was 22, and almost accidentally, and over time you get your limiting beliefs broken. We did our first bigger deal a few months after the 4,500. It was 22,000, and then it was 40, and then it's 65, and then it's closing multiple 65s in the same month. And once you realize that they're out there, and you start to see the kind of conditions that make for deals like that, just breaking through your limiting beliefs enough to be able to confidently deliver those offers and close at those prices, I think they just gradually keep getting bigger. I think it just takes time.
Please open up your podcast app right now and leave us a review and let us know what you thought of this episode. It means so much because the reviews help us get in front of more people. And the more people we can get in front of, the more we can help them achieve financial freedom. And we also get more energy to put more content out like this to help you. So by leaving us a review, it will give you more content to come to help you along on your journey. Thank you so much. How would you describe wholesaling to somebody who's at your family reunion and has no idea what you do?
So I tell people I'm a real estate investor. I enter and exit properties, and I enter. Sometimes I don't even take the deed. I don't even take the title. I put the property under contract and I sell the contract. I create the right to buy that property at a certain price on a certain day, and that has value. I can sell that for the value that it has. So
where do you end up finding these people that buy your properties?
We really try to take everything to the MLS as much as we can. We try to novate as much as we possibly can.
What does that mean?
Novation is an exit strategy that allows you to essentially replace yourself in the purchase side of the contract with another buyer. It's almost like an assignment. Typically, we're novating though to a retail buyer. It allows us to get around some of the rules of lending. Mostly, I would say, is one of the biggest benefits. There's seasoning periods on FHA and VA loans. And if I were to buy the property and then resell it quickly, the FHA and the VA loans especially wouldn't allow me to do that because they want it to season for 90 days. So instead of buying and reselling, we just connect so A to B, B to C, we just connect the A to the C. We let them do business, and then the A kicks us back a marketing fee, a consulting fee, a novation fee.
Do they ever get mad that you're making such a big novation fee?
No, not typically. I've never really had to deal with an upset seller that saw we were making novation fees or marketing fees. It's we set up the process and we set the expectations properly in the beginning. And I think that is what is so important. Is it is my job, and you are working with us with the understanding that I am here to deliver you what I've promised you, which is the amount of money that I've offered you on the day that I've offered it to you on. So how I go about doing that is ultimately irrelevant to any seller. I've fulfilled and delivered on my promises.
Do you have to have your own license in order to novate and put that on the MLS?
We do lean on licenses. You have to utilize a license unless you want to go FSBO, which I do not recommend. It doesn't have very much visibility. Yeah, for sale by owner, it doesn't have very much visibility. I would say, so what we do is we utilize flat fee listing services. There's services that allow you to lean on their license and list a property. For the one we use costs $200 per listing, and then they take a quarter point if the property sells.
What's the website that you use to do that flat fee listing?
We use listwithfreedom.com.
Okay, cool. Is novation just a contract? It's like a fancy word for a contract or a language in the contract with the seller that gives you the ability to do that listing?
Yeah, so novation, I think the word literally means partnership. So we're saying we're entering into a partnership with the seller to help them achieve, and that's how we set it up to help them achieve their goal. You want $200,000 for your property. Okay, allow me these freedoms, enter into a partnership with me. I will do what I need to do to get you and give me that freedom, that flexibility. Let me list it. Let me take it out to partners of mine. Let me explore all these options in order to get you your money.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. I love that strategy for you. It's helping you get in front of more sellers that want to pay retail prices, so you can sell that house for as much as possible and make the biggest assignment fee.
And it also allows us to be more competitive. If I'm competing with somebody who isn't exiting to retail, isn't exiting to the MLS, then likely I'm going to be able to pay more than them. So if I can pay more than them, I can win the deal. And I'm in an extremely competitive market. Every house that I step into, I could smell the scent of the wholesalers that already left, So it's extremely competitive. So we have to find ways to separate ourselves and to win. And being able to pay more by having more exits available to us is definitely an advantage.
Hey, one thing we haven't talked about is the biggest mistake you've made in real estate so far.
I'm still in the middle of it. I mean, at the end of it, I hope. But we locked up a sixplex in Central Phoenix down here, and we locked it up for $970, and ARV at the time we thought was $1.8 million. Interest rates were 3%. Yep, after repair value. Sorry. So we were banking on we thought we were going to make $500,000 on this deal. We had offers to wholesale it out for $150. So we could have just wholesaled it.
Your biggest one.
Could have been, still would be to this day. So, we had offers to wholesale it out. We said, no, thanks. We're going to flip it, turn this building over, and, we're going to try to capture the whole $500,000 for ourselves. We hired a property manager. She mismanaged it. She was contracting without a license. She was doing a terrible job. She was way off timeline. She was way over budget. Our inexperience and mismanagement of the management was the biggest mistake, and still to this day is causing us issues. I'm trying to resell the building. We have investors on it. It's a whole snafu. What I should have done is wholesale the deal. I would have never thought about it again. But here we are. I'm still tangled up in this mess of contractors and legal and stuff. And
what was the initial appeal to, like, did you have properties before, or was this a new, what do they say, shiny object syndrome? You saw the potential and it was like, oh, I should try it.
Yeah, this was a little bit shiny object syndrome for sure. I mean, the numbers just, it still is and would be a life-changing amount of money to do one deal and make $500,000. Yeah. The unfortunate circumstances surrounding the market, first of all, Phoenix saw, and a lot of other places saw a really sharp downturn right about when we bought it. So outside factors caused some turmoil. And then our mismanagement and inexperience. But yeah, if we would have stayed in our lane, taken that, and then continued to roll that $150K profit potentially into marketing, into the wholesale machine, then we would be, who knows? We'd be in a significantly better spot, I'm sure.
Sure. Yeah, I think the appeal to me sounds like it's twofold. You have the possibility of making the $500,000, but also creating a pool of passive cash flow, stuff that's generating money without you having to be sending mail, making lists, cold calling, texting. So I see the appeal. Maybe too big the first try, maybe try smaller. I mean, what advice would you give to a guy like some of our listeners that could potentially run into this? What would you tell them to look out for?
I think that it's very market dependent. First of all, what you decide to do as your primary exit strategy, you're in a market where rentals cash flow largely, and I'm not. Phoenix, talk about a 1% rule that you're not going to find it here. There's 400, 450,000, $500,000 houses here renting for $1,800. It just, nothing cash flows, especially at the current rates. So what I would say is, and my focus is being in this market, active income. I don't, I'm here to build a large wholesale business. And the goal is ultimately what we're doing here is we're all converting our time to money. And to go full conversion, I do believe that you go time to active income to assets to passive income. But I don't want to start eating away at my opportunity to create more active income by investing in passive income too early.
Right.
I'm looking
You're going to run out of cash if you start building rental properties. So you
I
have to
want
generate cash. So
I want a
wholesaling does
huge
that.
cash business. Yeah.
Way lower cost risk than doing a fix and flip. As you mentioned, you kind of wished you had just wholesaled it for 150.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'm looking to create this cash cow that is spitting this active income business that is spitting off dividends that can go into assets, then creating passive income.
Gotcha. As we wrap up, can you tell us a couple more of those big deals and what the situation was with the seller, how you found it?
We were just doing a light analysis on this in our business. We did 8. So some of my bigger deals and most recent, most of them come from pre-foreclosure. 8 days before an auction, we bought a property, or we stopped the auction. We reinstated the loan, took over the payments, and wholesaled it out, 3 weeks later for $57,000. So that was recent. So pre-foreclosure pending 8 days out. Another one I did that was the 125 deal was the same exact thing. Pre-foreclosure pending 8 days to auction. So with that kind of time, another one I did was $53,000. I actually contracted this property 2 hours before the auction. And, that's a good story, I guess. But when you contract a property that's facing an auction with such a short amount of time, that's where all of my focus and attention goes until that auction is postponed, canceled, stopped, some sort of way. So, high motivation deals. That's the short answer to where some of the bigger deals have come from in recent times. These people don't. I tell my team they have several bad options. It is our job to guide them to their best bad option. We don't have a magic bullet to solve all their problems and pre-foreclosure and pay off their arrears and keep your house and blah, blah, blah. But we can maintain a lot of your equity. We can potentially let you live in the house moving forward. We can get you on a good foot moving forward, and we can avoid foreclosure so that you don't have that on your record, on your credit, on all this stuff. So we're going to try to create the best bad scenario for sellers to the best of our ability. We really are trying to do the best we can for them.
Tell me about this infamous gopher story, because I've heard you bought a house with a gopher in it. Sometimes these types of deals, they come up with funny things you don't expect.
So at the same time we bought that sixplex, we bought this like mid-luxury flip, and we were just doing really light rehabs, turning them back out and making big profits. This house was originally underwritten for a $67,000 profit on a $5,000 rehab. So this was another flip, right, that did not go as planned. And we decided, I put it on the market, wasn't selling. Same thing, market downturning actively, multiple percentage points per month. So we decided, hey, let's move into that house. It's in my part of town. It's an upgrade from what I was in. It's on an acre. It's beautiful. I'm sitting in it right now. But when I got here, it had not been cared for like 20 years. And the people that were living here, they just didn't upkeep the house. And one thing, the worst thing about this property was the gopher infestation. I've trapped 38 gophers since moving to this property.
Oh my gosh.
My neighbor, great guy.
It's like whack-a-mole.
Yeah, I've got the most neighborly neighbor in the world. He comes over right when we move in. He's like, "Oh man, we got to take care of these gophers." He's like, I'll teach you how to trap them. So me and my neighbor out on our hands and knees digging for, you can see the tunnels, and you set the traps in there and snap them up.
These things are kind of cute.
Yeah. Until they're underneath your slab and your concrete is failing and they're all in your infrastructure under your house, then they're not cute then.
Let me ask you this. If you were wholesaling, would you have had to trap the gophers?
No. But
no. So another reason why you should wholesale and doing these other exit strategies. You can get paid quickly.
That's a good point.
I feel like you love gophers, though, now. This has actually been life-changing for you.
Yeah. I got a gopher head cover. These guys.
Oh, gosh.
My in-laws got me this gopher head cover after I became a gopher expert.
Yeah,
so.
for your golf club.
Yeah.
I didn't know what a head cover was. I was going to say a hat.
So it's a skin.
Guys,
Gopher
if
skin.
you want to follow Colton, I'd highly recommend it. I know he golfs with our co-host Ryan, and they are undefeated. But also, they are pretty badass real estate investors. His Instagram is Colton Fast REI. So check him out there and give him a follow. Colton, I really appreciate you being with us today, man.
Thanks for having me. This is great. Thanks, guys.
Of course. And we will see you guys next time. That's the podcast.
Thanks for listening to the Deal Machine Real Estate Investing Podcast. Please leave us a review and follow along wherever you're listening to your podcast.